we'll pick up with you on that same question.
So just going back, so he's voted to weaken regulations that have been put into place with Dodd-Frank after the 2008-2009 economic crisis, which was meant to protect us from scandals and unscrupulous behaviors.
In what way did that weaken it?
He specifically, it would weaken the Consumer Federal Protection Bureau, which is the agency that was created in Dodd-Frank, and it's the one that found the Wells Fargo scandal, and then worked to get them punished appropriately. Maybe they need some more punishment, but and then there was 3 or 4 other ones which just weaken the regulations, make it easier to do Ponzi schemes again. There's overturn the, I'm going to say the Volcker rule, which is where the banks are not supposed to be using certain pots of money for high-risk programs and projects and efforts. So in regard to protecting us, I mean, that was a huge impact. Florida was the 3rd hardest hit by the economic crisis of 2008-2009. Melbourne was in the top 20 hardest hit cities. So I feel like we should be doing more and not less to ensure that we are protected from the big banks, Wall Street, and unscrupulous business behavior. So I would say that's the environment and that's business, and those are 2 huge things that are very important, I think, to the voters in the 8th district.
Okay, thank you. Bill, give the congressman a grade and tell us why.
Yeah, first of all, sorry for being late. I've been running around a little bit this morning, and I'd like to say hi to Corry and Mr. Posey. Appreciate it. Well, as for a letter grade, I do like a lot of the things Mr. Posey has been doing. The accountability and transparency that he's been fighting for, I think, are important. I want to carry that forward into the next generation and all that. But as for a letter grade, I'd have to give him a B minus. A B minus. He's done well. There's a lot of things that he's promoted through his career. I mean, 30 years in, he's got a lot of experience. But the corruption is what I'm trying to fight against. I've been nearly a quarter century as a civil servant. I haven't been in public office, but as a civil servant with the government out at NASA and the technical industry. I saw how politics has wasted a lot of money, and it's caused a lot of issues with the space industry in general. The space industry had a lot of momentum, had a lot of money going into it during the space race, and a lot of that was shifted around the country. Me and the fluids department with main engines, we had to get fluid lines fabricated, just as an example. We had to ship them out to California to be fabricated. We had guys that originally made all of our fluid components there on the depot and at the Space Center, Kennedy Space Center. We had those guys train guys in California how to do it and ship it out there and ship back. Fluid lines didn't fit, we had to ship it back out, tweaked, bring them back. So there's a lot of waste in government. It's politically induced. I see the reason for it, but we don't need to make jobs that way. We need to make jobs in new industries, new technology, and create jobs that way. What's happened during Posey's term is we've lost a lot of money in the space industry. We need to have a technical background on the Hill to help explain to people technology investment creates jobs. Technology investment helps our educational system coming up because more people are learning new technologies, new industries, and improves the economy for the nation, and it helps this district in particular. So this district is a technology district, and it's based around a lot of high-tech jobs. A lot of my friends have lost their jobs, over the years during this time, and because money's gone away, jobs have gone away, and if they have gotten jobs back, it's been at a much lower salary. They've had to take pay cuts because of supply and demand with the jobs. The supply's down. We have a lot of high-tech people ready to work. We need to create those new industries. I'm in the midst of creating a new industry right now with some of the work I'm doing. I do have a patent on the wind turbine design, but I do have a new security industry digital interface that I'm creating, and I'm actually going to demo it tonight. It's what I was doing this morning, and sorry for coming late, but these are things that we need to look to the future, bring the millennials in. Millennials, my 2 sons are millennials. They're in engineering at USF right now. They're trying to find jobs. I was able to get my older son an internship this summer, but it was a struggle. There's a lot of jobs that are hard to find for these millennials, and they know it. They've got all the information at their fingertips. They know Congress is corrupt, they know government is corrupt. They're wanting to find a new answer. I can help that. You know, we need to find a way to let everybody know technology is the investment that creates the most return for the dollar for the American taxpayer.
Thanks, let me stop you there.
All right.
Congressman Posey, you got a D and a B minus. Grade yourself and explain your answer, and if you wish, address some of the criticisms.
Obviously, I think I deserve an A. This is a 24/7 job, and most of the criticism about the way I do the job is based on people who just don't understand the job. There's a lot of moving parts in Congress. There's thousands of moving parts all the time. You don't have an opportunity to do this, that, or the other every day. I mean, I could ask either opponent, what have you done to stop human trafficking in the last year? I mean, it's a major, major issue here. But we have, you know, one concerned on space and science, which I appreciate. Smart guy, good ideas. Somebody concerned, you know, a lobbyist about the environment. She's been paid to promote that. Had some great, just this past session, had some great environmental victories. And they're not easy. I mean, you have members of Congress that never pass anything. They can never pass anything. With Patrick Murphy, and it's hard for a Democrat to pass anything without a Republican co-sponsor. Patrick and I worked together, we got the NEFP renewed, improved baseline funding for all estuaries. With Congresswoman Bonamici from Oregon, we got the $20 million for algae bloom research approved. The algae bloom that we have in our lagoon is similar to water bodies being in trouble with it all over this country right now. So it's just not our particular lagoon. Most importantly, the Florida legislature, who has appropriated millions of dollars to deem up some of the worst portions of the lagoon, has had trouble with the National Marine Fisheries Commission. Take up to 2 years to get a permit approved, make a change, go back to square one. We're concerned because of the way the fundamental appropriations work in the Florida legislature. If you don't use the money within 2 years, they try and claw it back under reversions. I had that happen with appropriations that I've had for the Emergency Operations Center, for example. It didn't get spent in 2 years because they were able to delay the planning of it and with red tape, and so they want to take the money back. So there's a real fire underneath me, I think, to try and cut down that 2-year approval process. And through about 6 months of negotiating with the National Marine Fisheries Commission, we finally got them to do a new streamline order for this thing that would make it 2 weeks. And that's going to be huge. And we can do concurrent ones. We don't have to do them one at a time to get this stuff demucked. So, I mean, those are 4 major things that we've done this year. Since I've been a member of Congress since 2008, you know, I participated, or had my staff do, and I've been personally the lead on a number of conferences trying to get some action on the lagoon. The lagoon is a 2-step solution. Number one is attention to it, recognize that we have a problem, and number 2 is action to do something about the problem. I'm hosted the first get-togethers of trying to get all the interested parties together so that we could focus on the best way to do it. There's so many possible solutions to cleaning up the lagoon, and with everybody having their own particular solution, you know, going this way and going that, nothing gets done. There's a lot of spinning wheels. So it's taken literally years to try and get people compressed, get together, and get them marching in the same direction, and to try and get a uniform approach to solving some of those problems that we have. On space, I think anybody in Congress will tell you there is no bigger promoter of space than Bill Posey, period, end of subject. I mean, it's not even an argument. I loved it when, I think the best thing Romney ever did was pick Paul Ryan for his running mate last time, because Ryan was briefed on space. And it's because I briefed him on space. I went to see Paul Ryan earlier just to tell you how this stuff works. And I said, Paul, he's our head budget guy, and right now he still knows more about the budget than any other member of Congress, bar none. I said, Paul, tell me 5 benefits you get from space. I said, well, just tell me one. And he goes, oh man. So we started doing a profile on Paul Ryan's district and the betterment of space, a 1-pager, you know, front and back. And now you see Paul Ryan, and he can tell you, it's important to our national security, it's important to our economy, it's important to the survival of our species. You know, where would we be today? Laptops wouldn't work, cell phones wouldn't work, credit cards wouldn't work. I mean, it is, you know,
It's all come out of space.
yeah, it'd be a catastrophe. We even started, because so much of Congress, every member of Congress's time is precious, I mean precious. People don't believe that, they don't understand it, but it is precious. And staff drives an awful lot of what is done in Congress, just because the member's time is limited to 24 hours a day. Rely heavily on staff. And so in space, for example, we started Space Advocates, a group of other members of staff on the Hill. And we typically have 90 other members, which is more than we have ever co-signing space legislation.
Right.
But we have their staff, which is where they're getting their input. And you know, I'd tell somebody really tomorrow, it's probably more important to know someone's chief of staff than it is to member to advance an agenda. That's the reality of it, because there's so many different directions, there's so many different subjects that are brought up all the time.
Let me stop you there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, thank you, that was a good overview.